This is Captain Harry Hasting, an English Special Forces soldier put into cryosleep in the mysterious Vault 83. An English-backed vault in partnership with Vault-Tec meant to protect the great mines of England, but it was secretly a plot to take revenge on America for England's loss in the Revolutionary War in 1783 by controlling the post-war government. But with some good luck, most of the cryopods fail, killing the occupants, all except for Harry. He's a man of simple pleasures, and all he wants to do is help people, so it's time for him to defrost, stock up on supplies, and head into the wasteland to see what he can do. First impressions of what's left of the world? Well, it's safe to say it's in a terrible way, but surely someone needs his help. So on the road he goes, hoping he'll stumble on someone friendly, all while trying to avoid the constant gunfights that seem to be commonplace. Eventually, after a long hike, Harry does find a friendly face. It's just one full of fur who of course is coming along on the adventure, and he's named Jax. Instead of following, Jax runs off in the direction of Concord and wants to be followed, and it seems it's because some of his old friends seem to be in trouble in the derelict Museum of Freedom. So Captain Harry Hasting does what he does best and decides to step in and get rid of some bad guys. With the coast clear and the survivors safe, it's time for a chat, and the leader Preston is a Minuteman, a group devoted to the protection of wasteland settlers and hoping to rebuild it into a better place. And, well, that's a cause to get behind, so it looks like we're joining the Minutemen and we're helping rebuild the entire Commonwealth Wasteland. Before heading to a place called Sanctuary, we have to do some looting, as the Museum of Freedom just so happens to have a few uniforms we could use in our joint Minuteman venture. Heading out with the group on the road, we eventually reach our new home in Sanctuary, and while it's in a bad way, it's safe to say the place has some fantastic potential and could be the start of a huge settlement empire. But one thing at a time, and there's some cleaning to do before any building project can be started. Well, I clean after putting the flags up. I couldn't resist doing this. Phase 1 of the rebuild is survival, and before any building we need the basics so the group can live. All rubbish needs to be cleared to remove any risk of injury or disease. We need a shelter so the group can live comfortably. We'll also need to grow our own food and have a healthy supply of fresh purified water. And we'll need plenty of electricity to power our future projects. So let's get on with it. First up is the clean-up, and as you can see, Sanctuary is in dire need of a good deep clean. So anything that can be used for materials is turned into scrap, with some of the buildings still in good shape being kept around as a shell for our builds. And after a couple of days, we've got a blank canvas and plenty of materials for our projects. Next, I have a plan to solve our power issues, and this flat roof in a central location is the perfect place for a windmill. To get on the roof for maintenance, we'll need a staircase, and to support this massive structure, we'll need plenty of scaffolding, and these shack bridges look like a perfect fit for the job. With the support taken onto the roof and the windmills configured for maximum output, we've got power and can start on our next task, getting the water situation solved. Of course, Hastings can't forget to relax while rebuilding the wasteland, and what better way than on his favourite pre-war game, which of course is Monster Hunter Now, an authentic Monster Hunter experience that lets you find monsters in the real world by using your phone. It's the perfect option to get you outdoors and enjoying the spring weather, and hopefully your hunting goes better than mine. There's no better time to jump into Monster Hunter Now than right now, because Monster Hunter Now are running a huge collaboration event with Monster Hunter Wilds, packed with surprises that any Monster Hunter fan won't want to miss. For the first time, a monster from Monster Hunter Wilds has made it into Monster Hunter Now, and players can also unlock the secrets from Monster Hunter Wilds and enjoy the thrill of riding it while you're out on your hunts. But this won't be available once the event ends, so don't miss your chance to unlock these amazing rewards. But that's not all. By completing in-game event quests, you'll unlock a special gift code that can be redeemed in Monster Hunter Wilds. These rewards will give you a head start, making sure you're prepared before any hunt or big adventure. So if you haven't already, then now is the perfect time to download Monster Hunter now. It's free to play, and once you start hunting monsters out in the real world, you'll be hooked. So click the link in the description and get started on this event before it's gone. I hope to bump into you out on the hunt. The water situation is getting out of hand, but there's a perfect spot at the edge of the riverbed with a broken section of wall. So to make sure the water can be purified safely, I build a pier with a hollow centre and place a few water purifiers in place that were salvaged so we don't need to worry again. And finally, make sure the structure is fully supported, placing walls around to provide cover and a few areas to allow us to fire back at raiders, and railings to avoid jacks falling into the water again. The last of the scavenged food is running out, so it's time to build a farm, and this flatland is the perfect location. Preston knows of a farm nearby, so we head on the road to Abernathy Farm and make a deal with the owner to help rebuild in the future. And with melon and potatoes, we've got some fresh food to take back and plant. So we get to work on sectioning this area off with the scavenged fences, and add a gate for the entrance, and get to planting our new produce. So with that, most of our immediate needs are filled. The final project in phase 1 is to get the central house in a livable state, so I start by patching up the various windows and holes in the bedrooms and living area, but leave a couple of windows open for some fresh air. I add a new front door for security, and then start working on the bedrooms and communal living area, adding in plenty of lighting, plenty of home comforts and decoration, and each settler gets their own living space. I think this is a fantastic start to the Sanctuary settlement, and sure to attract plenty of people living here when word starts to spread. But word doesn't always spread to good people. After a close call against the gunners, phase 2 starts, and this is all about improving the security of Sanctuary. Currently it's wide open to attack, so the plan is to create a gate checkpoint and wall off the entire settlement. Add some defence towers around the perimeter to act as lookout points, get some turrets installed for additional firepower, and finally set up a Minuteman HQ to interview visitors before they can join the settlement. So with a working garage door from Red Rocket, I set that up as the gate, and expand around it to make quite a formidable looking installation. Equipped with a very safe lookout point for guards, and some added turrets on top, this should keep the settlement safe. No time for decorating this just yet though, as we need to make a start on the wall. The island Sanctuary is on is far too big to cover entirely, so I'm using the waterline and houses as my guide, putting down walls to enclose it into a workable area. I find this cool looking bus which will work into the rebuild in a unique way later. With most of the wall done, I board up some houses to act as a natural defence point, and the town is secure. With some volunteer guards, we have some lookouts, and I decorate it into a very comfortable looking work post at the gate. The Sanctuary sign on top is a nice touch to show off the settlement centrepiece, and the wall will force any attackers over the bridge into our defensive choke point. But we still need lookout towers. This flat roof would work as a rear guard tower, so I repair the floor and add some stairs, fence it off for safety, and build a platform out of scaffolding to act as the lookout point. With some additional touches, the guard tower is fully sheltered from the elements, and even has a storage and sleeping area below for when the guards are off duty. On an empty foundation plot, I decide to combine a barracks and a lookout spot which can be used when I expand into this area. For now, I build up the building to have 2 floors, first floor for relaxation, and the second floor to act as a quarters for future guards, and I add roof access and fortify this area to act as a guard post. But there's nothing to defend here yet, so it's time to move on to the Minutemen headquarters. The empty plot of land near the gate is the perfect spot for this building, so I get to work building an old western style shack. With the shell done, I add the recruitment beacon on top and fortify this area to protect any repair workers, and add some finer detail and decorating work. The shack has a porch for relaxation, as any building like this needs, a spot for jacks to chill out and shelter from the elements, and inside is fully equipped with an office for admin tasks like interviewing potential settlers and managing the expanding workforce. Oh, and I can't forget the armoury. We have enough weapons and ammo to take on a small army. The space next to the headquarters was looking a bit empty, so I fenced it off and added a bunch of scrap items to make it a drop-off point for the salvage that'll be used in future projects. It's a perfect spot for it, with drop-offs being made right next to the gate. With the threat of the outside world taken care of, it's time to look inwards at expansion in Phase 3. To become a powerful faction, the Minutemen will need an economy, and it'll need settlers, so the plan now is to build a trade outpost for selling and receiving goods, a campsite for the traders and visitors to stay the night, finish the barracks so we can recruit more guards, set up a clinic for treating injury and disease, and finally a working marketplace and tavern for our settlers to enjoy during their time off. Before opening the town to the wider wasteland, I added an extra security checkpoint at the gate with a decontamination arch, just to act as an extra buffer to any danger or disease that might slip through the net. And to make it a little bit safer to walk around at night, I had scavenged and repaired streetlights for visibility. And the final touch is adding some decorations to make Sanctuary look like a nice place to live. Hopefully these additions get some settlers to commit to the project. Now for the trade checkpoint, and this derelict building is perfect for it. It even has a covered section which I can turn into a barn for Brahmin. So it's time to get the barn walled off to keep them safe, add on a door, and some hay and feed inside, and I think it'll keep the trade caravans very happy. The building has a few holes and no windows, so some patching up is needed to make sure the goods inside don't get damaged. Now just for some decorative touches inside to make sure this building is a great place for trading. And I think this has turned out great, with the sign outside and some drop-offs making it obvious this is a trade spot, a happy Brahmin relaxing inside the new barn, and a guard to keep track of the deliveries coming into town. Inside is a waiting area for the traders to relax while things are processed, and even grab a bite to eat before heading back on the road. And there's plenty of space for storage in here, where goods can be held before being sent around town or traded in the wasteland. Now I think a place to stay for traders and visitors is next on the list, and this empty plot of land and bus have given me some inspiration for a campsite. I had another bus into the area, and fenced off the entire section to give it some character. I board up some of the windows in the buses to keep the weather out of the back of the bus, and then get to decorating. The final product is definitely a comfortable wasteland overnight stay. 2 fully equipped buses to rent out for the night with some nice amenities, and some outdoor seating for stargazing, plenty of seating under the tent for socialising with fellow travellers with a nice barbecue, and there's places to get cleaned after a long day of travelling. I think it's a great addition to town and makes use of some dead space. With the hotel added, this part of town needs some defence, so it's time to finish the barracks. This just needs some decorating work and slight expansion, so I finished the porch area and add more sandbags to the roof to give an additional lookout point over the roundabout area of town, which will become pretty busy soon. Then I get hard at work to kit this place out to be a great place to live for our guards, who've been living in some pretty rough conditions at their posts for a while now. And the result is a great outdoor area for relaxation in the garden or on the porch, and for some friendly competition and practice at the shooting range, which is quite popular with the townsfolk as well. Inside there's plenty of seating on the ground floor around the fire, and some entertainment in chess and the various books. Plus there's a bathroom and working toilet which doesn't cut you when you use it. Upstairs is the sleeping quarters with plenty of storage for personal belongings and some quality beds, plus a small armoury for keeping weapons and uniforms stored away and in good condition. And on top of the roof we've now got 2 additional guards looking out for trouble out of town, and keeping an eye on anyone who will cause issues in town as well. We're more than safe with this addition. With more settlers and guards, the clinic needs to be set up, and there's an empty plot in the middle of town, so let's get building. Nothing too special here, we just need 1 floor with enough room for some beds and a place to sell medicine to the locals. And after some time spent outfitting the building once it's built, that's exactly what I've created. Outside, it's obvious this is a doctor's office with the signage on the walls. Inside we have a waiting room for treatment, and a pharmacist who can sell medicine over the counter to treat any sickness. In the treatment room we have a doctor hard at work making medicine when she's not treating patients, and plenty of beds for any long-term patients. We even have these fancy heaters to boil water to sterilise the medical equipment. Not a bad place to get treated in the wasteland. Next I want to build a marker for some permanent shops in town, and the centre of the roundabout by the tree would be a great spot. I set up some shacks around the tree to house the shops, fill in the spaces between the walls, apart from one side because I want a seating area inside for a nice place to relax. In the other walled off sections I add some tents to make additional space for seating options, and then make sure the area is well lit with plenty of oil lamps. before finally getting the area decorated and employing a few permanent shopkeepers. And the result is my favourite area of town, and something to keep the locals very happy. There's plenty of shopping options for food, general trading goods, a wasteland clothing store, and of course a gun and armour shop, all fully equipped with trade goods from around the wasteland. The seating around the area is great for relaxing after an order from the food stand, and if you want a more intimate time, the inner seating area around the tree is a great option, and even better of an evening with the fantastic lighting. So I can tick the mark from the to-do list. After boarding up and decorating some additional houses for settlers, the final project for the town is the tavern. This is going to be a huge building with the tavern on the ground floor and some hotel rooms to rent on the second floor. With the shell of the building mostly done, a scaffolding balcony is added so guests can have a nice view of the market area. It's finished off by adding the various western style doors, and finishing the second floor by separating it into 3 separate bedrooms, and finally adding the roof. There's plenty of decorating to do around the place, installing a bar and entertainment, fitting all of the rooms to be well worth the caps to stay in them, and I think it turned out very well. The Backwater Tavern definitely looks the part on the outside. I'd for sure want to stop for a drink, and the balcony on the side makes great use of some empty space, and makes for an even better area for relaxation. Inside, our friendly neighbourhood robot Codsworth is making use of his bartending programming, and we like to use his free labour, and there's plenty more to do with the fireplace seating area for drinking, and a pool table if you're feeling competitive. Upstairs we have the hallway leading to the 3 hotel rooms, and the balcony at the end of the hall. And with the rooms looking like a bargain for the caps that they're worth, I'm sure there'll be plenty of bookings. You can't find a comfier stay than this in the Commonwealth. And with that, Captain Hastings and the Minutemen have turned Sanctuary into a settlement that's being talked about around the entire wasteland, somewhere civilization is starting to get back to normality, and a fantastic foundation for the Minutemen to continue the expansion to other settlements and start helping the entire Commonwealth rebuild. But when things are going well, not everyone will be happy. The gunners may have been defeated this time, but the attack was costly, and the Minutemen need to expand to have any chance of survival. Sanctuary is safe for now, and the empty red rocket on the outskirts look perfect for a military and trade outpost to help secure the area.